The perfect video store
Welcome to Blockbuster Video.
is popping up all over the country. There's one near you.
Blockbuster Video. Wow, what a difference.
Do you remember the feeling of walking into a video store on a Friday night? The walls of movies, games, and TV show covers, the sound of the plastic cases snapping open, the feeling that somewhere on those shelves there was a movie waiting for you. Welcome to the video store. Do you ever miss video stores? Not just the movies, but the feeling of walking into one. The shelves, the covers, the excitement of discovering something new. And that's before streaming, before algorithms, before everything became instant and disposable. This is the first episode of a brand new series called Tales from the Video Store. It's a series I've wanted to do for a long time. It's a way to revisit real-life stories from the video store and share what it was like to actually work in one back in the 90s and early 2000s. And it felt right to start at the beginning, with the origins of the video store guy and how this channel came to be.
Luc Major, le propriétaire du Club Vidéo Le Cinoche, est un des derniers parmi les derniers au Québec.
I really miss video stores. I miss them the way you miss a place that felt safe, a place you didn't even realize was shaping you at the time. Going to a video store was an event. Growing up, there were three places I loved more than anything in my city: the bookstore, the library, and the video store. If my mom was doing groceries or my parents were buying wine, I would disappear into one of those places for hours. And the video store, that one hit different.
Vous le savez, les jeux vidéo, c'est de plus en plus populaire. Ça fait que chez le Super Club Vidéotron, on en a de plus en plus.
I remember being completely hypnotized by the video game section. Back then, games were rare, they were expensive and entirely physical. Seeing all those boxes, all those possibilities, felt like standing in front of hundreds of different worlds. And renting a game was such an exalting event.
Excusez-moi, je cherche quelque chose d'épeurant. Autre chose?
And then there was the horror section. Those covers were wild. They were graphic, they were forbidden, which of course made them irresistible. I was there so often that I became friends with the owner's daughter. And I remember thinking, if I could work here one day, that would be the dream. And it happened. I was 17 years old when I got hired at my first video store. It wasn't exactly legal. There were adult tapes in the back, but the owner hired me anyway. At the time, I had three jobs. I was a paperboy, I worked at a community center doing surveillance and cleanups, and I worked at a video store. But that job didn't feel like work. People would come in, they would line up at the counter and ask me what they should watch. And I loved it, because my mindset was never, this is good or this is bad. It was about understanding what someone might like or what someone might dislike. I love something for a reason, someone else might love it for another reason, and some people wouldn't like it at all. And that was perfectly fine. I got to know my customers. I knew their tastes. I could tell them, this one's for you, or maybe you should skip that one. I would always say, this amount of person liked it and this amount of person did not like it, roughly.
On pourrait changer ça.
La série Dexter disque 1, vous avez pas aimé?
Non.
Et on le remplace par Dexter disque 2.
Ouais.
Pas de problème.
And I've always said something since those days. If you remove the parts like mopping the floors, balancing the cash register at the end of the night, and sometimes working weekends, actually every weekend, working in a video store would probably be my dream job. In a strange way, this channel is kind of that extension. Even if I'm not making money from it right now, it carries the same spirit, recommending stories, sharing context, talking about movies, games, and shows with people one conversation at a time. One of my goals with this channel is to talk about as many movies, games, and shows as possible, almost like having shelves and shelves of copies, the way a real video store used to. Tons of copies.
Des nouveautés, on a des tonnes de copies.
Pis ça énerve.
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 Not just recommendation, but also great scenes, memorable moments, iconic games, discussions, humor, and that familiar retro feeling. Because a video store wasn't just a place to rent something, it was a social hub, a place where people discovered things together, argued about movies, laughed, and shared their passions with one another. And that kind of space is something I feel we're missing today. So this is my way of rebuilding that, one conversation at a time.
Donc c'est pour 7 jours.
C'est ça.
During those first 2 years, I also started a bachelor's degree in comparative literature with a cinema profile. That's where I discovered Italian films, German cinema, Indian films, French film, American movies, film history, the language of cinema, and adaptations, and so much more. Suddenly the things I was learning during the day were feeding directly into what I was doing at night behind the counter. The first store where I worked was called Club Vidéo Détente, Club Relaxation in English, loosely. I worked there from around 1997 until the early 2000s, roughly around 2001. After that, I moved to Club International, Club International.
Tenez-vous bien. Si ce soir vous voulez triper, venez voir au Club International. Un très grand choix de nouveautés, autant de films, c'est génial. La plus grosse chaîne de Club Vidéo qui a toujours tous les films nouveaux. On vous en mettra plein la vue.
Oui, du film, et je vous donne le t-shirt officiel de ma tournée. Le Club International. Mon club.
It was a franchise, and I ended up working in 2 of their locations. The first one only for about a month, and the second one for several years, from 2002 until roughly 2005. Club International even had a mascot called Zap, like zapping. Zap was this blue movie genie type of character, a cool trendy guide for movies. He was part of the branding of the store, and at the time, I was wearing the blue polo from the store with him on it. So you really felt like you were part of this little movie universe.
Vous n'avez rien vu? Venez chercher au Club International. Mon club. Vous aurez tout vu.
So as I said previously, I ended up working in video stores from around 1997 all the way to 2005. That whole stretch of my life, from teenager to young adult, happened in that environment. During that era, when I was working at Club International, I was also playing music, first in a punk band and later in a metal band called Disrupture. As a main singer, we started doing shows, playing live, making noise. It was chaos, but it was a lot of fun. And it was a strange moment in life because on one hand, I had just come out of a rough relationship and I wasn't in the best place emotionally. But creatively, I really felt alive. Movies and schools during the day, music at night. Eventually, I moved to the big city, Montreal. At that point, life shifted and I had to move on. I ended up working in telecommunication, which is a whole other story for another time, maybe. But the heart of those years stayed with me, talking about movies, recommending stories, connecting with people. That part, it never really left. I first started thinking about a video store guy concept around 2010, when cameras started becoming more accessible and YouTube was in its infancy phase. But life happens. It wasn't after a separation, another rough patch when I moved into a new place and built a small studio, that the idea finally started to take shape. The video store guy isn't about having the biggest movie collection. I had shelves and shelves of VHS tapes once, and I had to give most of them away when I moved, which really sucks in retrospect, but you know, life is life. This is about something else. It's about the feeling of being in a video store. The community, the excitement, the ritual. Because going to the video store wasn't just an errand. It was an event. I would really get excited when my parents would tell me that we're gonna go and rent a movie or a game. And when those places disappeared, something truly important disappeared with them. So this channel, this is my way of bringing that feeling back. Not just with reviews, but with stories, with memories, with a bit of lore, and maybe even a little fiction along the way. There's way more coming than what you see right now. And if you stick around, if you get your membership card, and by the way, please like and subscribe if you stuck around this far, you'll discover it piece by piece. So then again, welcome to the video store. This is exactly where it started. And this was the first installment, the first episode of Tales from the Video Store. Every story starts somewhere. Every character has an origin story. This one started at the video store. Be kind, rewind.
My cells are burning. Breathe. My soul is dying. Breathe. There's no way to breathe. Breathe in my chest.